So, I'm Angel and welcome back to another info vlog. So, for today's video, I will be discussing about issues and concerns in children and adolescents literature, movies, and television versions. So, for the overview of this lesson, when we were a child, we are fond of watching Disney movies and other children films, right? However, there are things that we need to know before watching these movies, or there are many things that we need to consider before letting our nieces, nephews, and or younger siblings to watch movies. So, what are these things? So, the questions that I prepare will answer this question. So, for our first question is, what are the two issues and concerns in children and adolescents literature in terms of its movies and television versions? Anyone who'd like to answer? None? Okay, I'll be the one answering it. So, the two issues and concerns in children and adolescents literature in terms of its movies and television versions are: first, the negative health and the development effects of language development issues in children and adolescents. The second is the difference between children and adolescents literature and its movie and television versions. First, let's discuss the negative health and development effects and language development issues in children and adolescents. So, the children will depend on what a child sees can be something that we should worry or care about, especially if they see something in the movies or television or even in the internet that shows negative contents like smoking, using drugs, killing, sexual intercourse, and etc. That is why we should be careful also, because there is a big possibility that they can imitate what they have seen. Because even in the story of Cinderella, Snow White, Peter Pan, and Beauty and the Beast, there are some negative contents. Most commonly is the use of tobacco. That is why guidance from adults are needed. So let's proceed. Second is the difference between children and adolescents literature and its movie and television versions. So, to explain this, I have an example. The story of Coraline and Alice in Wonderland. So, in the story of Caroline, the difference between its movie and book version is in the original book, which is one of the characters in the movie version is not present. Meaning to say, the writer in the movie version created by to change one of the attributes of the main character, which is to talk with herself alone. So, Caroline wouldn't have to talk to herself all the time because YB was there already. So in the case of Alice in the Wonderland, there is no White Queen. Actually, in the first book, she comes into play in the sequel. Alice through the looking glass, but she's in this 2010 adaptation, and honestly guys, I've never tried to watch this movie. So I cannot add any ideas, but I just want to add it so that those people who have watched this movie can be enlightened. So we can consider this as a problem because children at a young age cannot appreciate yet the beauty of twist or the movie twist. So confusion in the confusion, it is the main problem here for the children, because sometimes teachers of these children tend to ask their pupils what is the story of this book. What is the story of Cinderella? What's the story of Snow White? What's the story of Beauty and the Beast, and then many more. So sometimes the pupil will depend their answer on the movies that they have watched and not to the original. So the teacher will correct his or her pupils. So I have here impact of movies on kids or in kids. I don't know, so sorry. So the positive is promote positive social interactions, helps develop beneficial character traits, and the last one is help them expand their vocabulary. So the negative is slower language development with young children, and the second one is links between media and obesity or tobacco use. So, television viewing among young children has been an ongoing issue as it is found to affect their development in various areas. This problem is getting more worrisome as the percentage and amount of hours of television exposure among young children is increasing, especially with the growing production of children television programs. Studies have found that television exposure to young children could affect their language and cognitive development, and it can lead to behavior problems, attention disorder, and aggression and obesity. So, issues in television's viewing and youth and young children. So, television viewing among young children has raised issues and concerns to many researchers and professionals. So, the first issue here is the attention disorder. The early television exposure is now a common scenario where babies as young as a few months old are exposed to either foreground and background television. The second issue is learning. Previous and recent studies have been done to see the effect between television viewing and school achievement, including language and cognitive skills. So, how media use can affect kids? So, most kids today are plugged into devices like TVs, game consoles, tablets, smartphones, and many more. So, before they can even ride a bike. Nowadays, technology is also a big part of our lives. Parents can make technology a healthy part of childhood by teaching smart media use. But too much screen time can be a bad thing. Kids who view violence on screen are more likely to show aggressive behavior and to fear that the world is scary and that something bad will happen to them. So that's all for my topic, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something about my topic, which is all about issues and concerns in children and adolescents literature, movies, and television versions. And thank you, guys. Love you all. God bless. Stay safe, yo. See you soon.